Yeah, well, considering, yeah.
Yeah.
Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving, good holiday.
Yep. Hope you enjoyed it. You got lots of everything you wanted in the way of food
Yes.
or whatever. Right?
Yeah, I don't know,
Whatever.
hanging out with your folks.
Hanging out with the folks.
And your mother-in-laws, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was kind of weird having a Thursday night without, just leisure.
It was.
Yeah. I mean,
Very busy day.
yeah.
So-
The day was busy, and then the night there wasn't any good football games on. So,
No, there sure weren't.
and we didn't have a podcast.
Give us time to think and get our thoughts together, I guess.
Yeah. I had lots of family.
Yep. Had a few.
Unless y'all were watching, of course, then I didn't do that.
And the football was great.
Yeah, the football. That was a good game. I'm trying to remember who was it.
Oh, you lost.
It was
But they're playing again tonight.
hey, Cowboy fan right there. Cowboy fan.
Well, then we lost 100 subscribers right now.
I don't do pro football at all, so don't stick me with anybody. That's not my bag. But what is my bag?
Dogs.
Dogs,
So,
especially.
I was thinking the other day,
Mm-hmm.
What's the best breed for you? I said, no, that ain't right. It's not for you. I've always had in my mind comparing different breeds of what makes a working dog, protection dogs.
Okay.
And it's not a versus. It's not a versus thing. It's adaptability. And to me, both spectrums. Let's just say the dogs we're talking about tonight, the herding dogs and the mastiffs.
Right.
There's a spectrum of dogs there, on both ends, that complement each other, but are different in so many ways.
That's a good way to put it. Very good way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
And they do complement each other. We get, and of course we're going with these two because they're like they're the source everyone goes to for a guard dog. And along with the mastiffs, we're going to include the band dogs as a mastiff, and of course the Rotties a mastiff. But in working dogs, there's also a terrier breed that excelled at military work, and that's the Airedale Terrier in England.
Yep.
So there's a lot of versatility in dog, which we're going to go into next week, by the way.
Yes.
But for security dogs, for protecting our property, the two main groups are the herding groups and the mastiff groups, right?
Correct.
And there's people that get all bent up about their corso being the best, and there's people that get all hyped up about their Malinois being the best. Which is the best protection dog? Which is the best security dog? And we don't really care about which one's the best sport dog. That's for someone else to worry about.
So I was thinking about that whole thing. So everybody now is hyped on Malinois, Mals, Shepherds, the herding dog classes basically. And the Mastiffs are coming back because before there were German Shepherds and Malinois, there were Mastiffs. Those were the first original guard dogs of the world.
Exactly.
So it's like a trending thing, but they're coming back. I've seen a lot more Connie Corsos,
Right.
Dog Argentinos too coming back pretty big.
Yep. And
So to like Butch is saying, to compare them in contrast to each other is what we're doing here tonight to basically, because there are, if you look at the dog spectrum on those two spectrums, a lot of these dogs are different, but they line up together. Certain breeds line up with each other.
Right.
And certain breeds are better with the family. It's just, it's more of a comparison thing. It's not my dog's better than your dog thing.
Right. And it, believe it or not, it's not apples and oranges. Because because of the jobs, there's a lot of similar talents that everybody needs. Okay. We're gonna put our mics on, folks.
And we got a little excited there.
Yeah. So the ability to put a clip on a shirt is not necessarily in my wheelhouse, but there we go. Tell you how we're doing there, second win. So we're not comparing apples and oranges. It's more like we're comparing oranges and tangerines.
That's right.
They're similar.
Yep.
Their jobs are similar. But there's definite advantages depending on the job you're looking for.
Right, and keep in mind that the perspective we're coming from is that are well socialized dogs. Like we talked a few episodes back, you can have 10 dogs of the same breed, same exact. You're gonna have a world champion and a junkyard dog. It all depends what you put in the dog. So we're talking about basically what we deal with are socialized dogs, our dogs, and we're basing it off of that. If I'm wrong, let me know. But
Nope.
just
Right.
because you get when the dogs are very well socialized and obedience trained, it brings out the best in the dog. You actually get the true nature of the dog.
Exactly.
Because you're not fighting to get him to do this or stop jumping. That dog already is disciplined and knows what he's doing, confident, and will follow.
Exactly.
So that's all. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, and there's one thing become my firm belief over the years that I don't hear anyone else think about. The more you learn, the more you can learn. When those brain cells start getting active, that's why, in the 50s, kids started school when they're 6 years old in first grade.
Mm-hmm.
In the 70s, they started going to kindergarten.
I hate that shit.
In the 90s, they're going pre-K. So pretty soon they'll be taking lessons in the.
Well, there are already places where 3 years old they're already starting them.
Yeah. And the same thing applies. Remember, we're all mammals. A dog's brain develops the same way ours does. So the dogs we get in here that just are flighty, won't pay attention, none of them have ever had early training. So the first thing you're going to do with either of these types of breeds is make sure you start the training early and you socialize the heck out of them so there's nothing they're afraid of. You don't fight what you're afraid of. And there's this popular misbelief that if you want a guard dog, you got to keep him isolated. Don't let nobody else pet him. That way he only likes you. That's true. He only likes you, and he's afraid of everybody else. And he ain't fighting no damn body else. And that's going to apply to whether they're a Mastiff or a herder, but it's going to apply even more for Mastiffs because they're slower to develop, slower to mature. That means you have a longer socialization period. So, possible negative number one on a Mastiff versus a herder, a herding type, males, German Shepherds, 6 to 9 months, they can be jumping out there whooping everybody's butt. Mastiffs at 6 to 9 months can still be real timid. So if you've got a job, if you've got a pup and you are ready for him to go, you need security quick, but you're raising your own pup, you're probably going to go with a herder.
Yep.
If you're not in a hurry, if you're just replacing a dog that's already doing your security work for you, and you got time to bring the dog along, let's go with a Mastiff. But after they're grown, what the heck is the difference, Scott? Any ideas?
Well, basically, to me, most of the Mastiff breeds are more protective in a defensive state where they'll watch their families, their homes, and they'll ward off. As to where Malinois, I want to say that wrong. Malinois. Mals.
There you go.
My favorite dogs.
Yeah.
They, Shepherds, herding breeds are more protagonistic. And
Right.
now there's certain breeds, like the corso is peace-loving. That dog is very, with kids, everything else is great. Shepherds are the same way, in my opinion. But they will defend their territory, but when the bullet hits the bone, you hang on.
Yeah, and he just brought up something. So let's look at one of the things. If you're living with you're trying to decide which dog to live with, and you've got little kids, any of the breeds are going to be great if you raise them around your kids. Not a problem. Or if you bring them in, when they're already an adult dog with your kids, not a problem. But if you got 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds that run and scream, get excited, you might be better off with a Mastiff. So here, your Mastiff is going to have an advantage over the herder types. Because remember, the herder types, the German Shepherds, the Mals, the Taverns, these dogs are all more prey-driven and prey-oriented. So they are easily excitable. And because they got to chase a cow, chase a sheep, whatever, and bring him around, when your kids start running, they're going to run that sucker down. And you're going to call me and say, "Oh, my dog is beating up my kid." And I'm going to tell you to train your kid. He speaks English. Your dog don't. But that's just me. Okay. So, in that case, okay, now you got 6-year-old kids, boy kids, the worst. You might be better off with an English Mastiff, a Connie Corso, a band dog. Let's give a nod to the band dog people.
Yep.
Rottweiler.
Absolutely.
But you start with a female Rottie. Never start with a male Rottie. First Rottweiler should always be a female. So there's our plus for the Mastiffs. Where are the herding dogs going to excel? You got a nod?
Protection work. Very focused areas. To me, it looks like that, would say that a herding dog is communal, but on the same thing, it's more into one person. Mm-hmm. So.
Mm-hmm. And what people don't realize, the type of security situation you have is going to dictate a lot. So if it's a pure personal protection dog, Mals, German Shepherds, and hey, we're talking about herders here, so let's say healers, Border Collies, believe it or not.
And Border Collies is one of the smartest dogs out there too.
Yeah, and they will bite.
Yeah, they will.
They will bite. So these are great, and the plus for them over the Mastiff is maintenance. They're not going to eat near as much as the Mastiff. They're going to be up and ready to start doing the security work at 6 to 9 months of age, where your Mastiff is going to be a year to 18 months of age. So there's big pluses for them there. However, if you've got a situation, say where you live in I've been hearing stories about Los Angeles getting all sorts of horrible break-ins and really bad crime. There was something on the news, major news networks. I don't listen to all the little cable boys, but on the major news network today about the crime spike in L.A. Now, if you're, let's say, in an apartment in L.A., one of your herder types is going to be great. But say you got substantial money and land, and and you need to sneeze. Pardon me, folks.
Bless you.
What a Mastiff brings to the table is immediate intimidation, just by the sight of them. So what I discovered in my guard dog company was when you bring a big old Rottweiler to the fence and he spots somebody, because they're more defensive, they're worried about that person as a threat, they're going to stay right there on them. But now, remember, my guard dog company was in El Paso, Texas, and El Paso's on this side of the river and Mexico's on that side of the river. And, there's a lot of really good people that make a living in Mexico. It's a generational business. It's called theft. They've been coming across the border stealing from the gringos since 1890 something. And these guys they're good at what they do.
They're professionals.
Yeah, they're professionals.
Yep.
And I put my dogs in places where professional thieves were coming in with every intention of clearing the place out, and they had a lot of tricks. So, one of the simplest that they try for guard dogs, if it was a Malinois shepherd, they'd have 2 or 3 of the family members down here with a ladder fixing to climb over the fence, over the fence, and then Papa would sit here with a ball and bounce it, and then he'd throw the ball, and once that highly prey-driven herder got a look at the ball bouncing, when it was thrown, he was gone. And they'd have 2 or 3 tennis balls in their pockets, So if you need serious business and you don't want any mistakes, you got to go with a Mastiff, because they're a defensive breed. They're looking for people that are a true, honest threat.
And their mentality and their disposition, they don't give a damn about that ball.
Exactly.
They bring the fight to me. I'm not going to go to the fight.
Right. And
thanks for the defensive, like you were saying.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's where again, one of the advantages of the Mastiff. Now, what if you're a jeweler and like I think they call it the Diamond District in New York City, and you're carrying jewels back and forth. Well, a Mastiff might be, sure enough, security, but you might not get a whole lot of your customers to approach you at your store with this, 130-pound band dog, Connie Corso, English Mastiff, whatever, looking back at them. So, now, and because of quickness and ability to fit into society, now you're going to be looking for
The herding dog.
the herding dogs.
Or Doberman. I didn't say that out loud, did I? Herding dogs.
Herding dogs.
Herding dogs.
So, but now, I mean, let's take a look at a couple others. I mentioned Airedale, but there's that one dog breed that we all think we know something about that fits in between every class and every group. Is a Doberman Pinscher a Mastiff or a herder? Well, guess what, Scott? You're a Doberman man. Which ones are they?
Neither.
Neither.
Nope. I consider terrier class. I will. Actually, there's a lot of terrier in that dog. Mm-hmm. But actually, I consider it a working dog.
Yeah.
The classification itself, AKC registered it as a working class dog.
Right. They're in the
It does not anywhere. I can't find anywhere. People say they're bullies. I don't consider them a bully. Sorry, they're not bulldogs. But that's where I'm at with it. I have no answer really.
Right.
I consider them a terrier class because they're part German terrier.
Right.
And their disposition, their body build, and their agility, it's a terrier.
Yeah.
Just an oversized terrier.
Right. Right. They call Airedale the largest terrier, but I think in truth I'm with Scott. And Pinscher in German means terrier. Mm-hmm. But terrier means earth dog. That's because terriers, which is something that was established in England, or dogs that the farmers used to take care of varmints in the barnyard. They go to ground and drag badgers out of a hole and this sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. So they're earth dogs. I don't know what the Germans have in mind when they call them Pinschers, but supposedly it means the same thing in German.
Well, I mean, getting Airedale in a hole would be kind of funny too, wouldn't it?
Well, you know what Airedale's other name is?
Enlighten me.
Nickname, Otterhound.
Ooh.
Because they would go and grab otters out of the river.
Okay.
That's why they're so much bigger. So
that makes sense. Different geographical spectrum, different kind of dog.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah.
You see that a lot with those dogs. Well,
yeah.
All dogs were built for their back in the day,
Right.
Yep.
And every dog breed came by its name, usually from either the location where they were at or the job they were doing. Collies, Scottish for herding dogs. Mm-hmm. You have border collies and English collies and this kind of collie. And you have an Airedale Terrier, which came from the Dales, I think, are their counties in England. And the county of Ayr is where the Airedale came from. And then you have a Reverend Jack Russell Terrier, which the Reverend Jack Russell bred down Airedales till he got a smaller terrier.
Right.
Still today, the AKC won't recognize. They just
really.
Yeah, I heard it.
I'll be darned.
National Dog Show. They called them they're now recognizing the Russell Terrier. But they ain't gonna admit that someone else had a dog breed that wasn't theirs. So, but they're named for the person that bred those or had most of those dogs doing the job, or the area they come from. So, anyway, we kind of got off Mastiffs and herders.
So, but to recap a little bit here, so apartments, tight spaces, city living would be better with a
herder.
Land, you got big place to protect. Don't scare somebody off. Big black thing come out of the shadow like this. Mastiffs, so.
Mastiffs, yeah.
I mean, a lot of this stuff is pretty much logical, but still.
Right.
I got some friends I got a friend who lives in Dallas, He's got a 160-pound Great Dane in the apartment. The dog's great.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because man, it's a lot of work. Though and he lives in downtown Dallas, not uptown, downtown.
Downtown.
And he has to walk almost a mile and a half or drive his dog to a dog park.
To take a poop.
Listen to this though. He works all. He brings the dog to work with him. I've met the dog many times. Great, love the Dane. When he gets home at night, he drives home. Gets home at 5:30. Well, he doesn't get home until 7:30 because he has to go to the dog park. The dog has to do his business, play around. Gets home at 7:30. Cooks supper, and goes back out, closer park. So every night of him is a lot of work. So he's looking for a place out here. He goes, yeah, there's a lot of good places out there. And Burleson is that. Come on down. There's plenty of land out here where you can let the big dog out. So
that's a great dog owner. I wish more people were like him. But yeah, and surprisingly, Danes make a better apartment dog than most Jack Russells.
Yeah,
because they're calm. They're a calm dog.
He'll lay there all day on that mat in his office.
Yeah,
chill out.
Yeah, so they're just a great all around dog. But
you got to be careful of walking his office because the dog will come pretty quick if you come in there.
Yeah, they're the first police dog. The earliest police dog. They go back and forth arguing. Belgium wants to claim they had the first police dog with their Malinois in 1897, but Germany, the first on the record police dog, was from a constable, the night watchman in a town in Germany in 1892, I believe, and he got a Great Dane to walk the streets at night with him to stop burglars. So Mastiffs have always done it. They've always been there. Herding dogs in the protection dog or police dog or military dog world, they're a relatively new thing. They didn't come on the scene doing that stuff until the early 1900s, and the Mastiffs had already been doing it way back in Roman times. So.
Yeah. But to go back on the personal protection dogs, if you want something fast, and like you're saying, don't buy a Mastiff. We got a situation a few months ago that had a young Mastiff come in, and well, that Shepherd's doing that. And that Shepherd's how old? No, he's biting. He's 6 months old. He's on a sleeve. Well, my dog's 9 months and being interested. And of course, Butch interceded and kind of explained to this guy. And now this dog right here he's coming around now.
Yeah,
it's a little over a year, and he's a different kind of Mastiff because he don't sit back in defensive positions, wait you to come in. He comes at you.
Yeah.
And over the 3 months I've seen, just as good as a herding dog.
Oh yeah.
And they're a lot stronger.
A lot stronger. Yep.
So
you're not gonna go wrong with either breed if you start them young, socialize, train them, teach them, work with them, be their partner. So but we've touched on some other breeds tonight. Next week, it's one of those rare moments. I don't think it's ever happened that we already know our topic for next week. So we're gonna plug it right now.
He's lying. You got a sheet that big. We're scheduled out for 6 months.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So everyone talks about a job, that the dog terriers go to earth, border collies herd, and I've heard it from all these dog trainers. It's all in the genetics. It's all in the genetics. Well, you know what? We're going to find out. Is it all genetic or is it in the training? Which is best? How versatile are your dogs? Can a Doberman be a herding dog? Could a Great Dane be a bird dog?
Huh.
How versatile are dogs really when you work with them? We're going to tell you next week.
Tell you next week.
Tell your friends to join us.
Thank y'all.
We'll see you then, folks.